Hey team, we got a lot of things going on, so just want to make a quick update about what we got going on this week, next couple weeks. So the first thing, just want to wish a congratulations to Rich Bender. The National Wrestling Hall of Fame Honors Weekend is this weekend, and he will be inducted into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. He is our executive director and has done a lot of things for Greco and the sport of wrestling in general. So we're excited about that. Also going on this weekend, there's the U20 and U23 World Team Trials going on in Geneva, Ohio. That should be a great event. We've got a lot of good younger athletes that are going to be competing in that event for a spot on the world team. These youth level opportunities are great to get some international exposure and also represent the United States at the World Championship. So those are great opportunities. If you're in an age group to be able to compete at that, I'd highly recommend it or put it on the calendar for next year. Also, we got Final X next week. That's really big. That's going to determine our world team for the Senior World Championships, as well as solidify some of the remaining spots on our national team. And again, the winners of that, our world team member, they'll have opportunities to go to Lithuania, Hungary, of course the World Championships in Serbia, and then the Pan Am Games in Chile later in the fall. So these opportunities, when we have these opportunities to go overseas and wrestle and compete with foreign competitors, it's very important. These matches, these training opportunities are so important just to get those different looks, get that different exposure, to be able to develop and improve our game. And it's really part of the process. If you look at any of the wrestlers that have had success on the world level, they're winning medals at the Olympics, they're winning medals at the World Championships. Those athletes have been the ones that have been able to get that international exposure, get those international competitions and training opportunities. So I highly encourage, anytime there's an opportunity to wrestle with some international athletes, to take advantage of that. With that being said, there is going to be a training camp with the Minnesota Storm out in Minneapolis, Minnesota. That is going to be June 4th through the 17th. So any senior level athletes that are interested in that, in this email, there's some contact information to contact Dan Chandler about that, on how to get set up on that. It is a self-funded camp, but the Puerto Rican team will be out there training with the Storm, and there'll also be former Cuban coach Juan Manuel Fernandez that's going to be out there running practice. So there should be some great training sessions. So if that's something that you can make, I highly encourage that. And then also just a point as far as like your training, just something to think about. You want to put everything into your training. That's what's going to prepare you for your competitions. And the way I like to think of it is, like, think of a musician. If you go to a concert, you see a world-class musician, you know that they've spent hours and hours and hours on their craft, being able to become a master at playing their instrument. The same thing goes with wrestling. That time on task is going to make all the difference in the world. We know parterre is super important to Greco-Roman wrestling. So think about that. Like, hey, I want to get really good at a gut wrench. I want to get really good at a lift, or whatever that technique is. You got to spend a lot of time on that. Consider yourself an artist, right? You're not only an athlete, you're an artist. And find those intricacies and those nuances of how to apply that technique, how to set up that technique, and how to execute it to where you can not only score with it on people here in the United States, but also where you're going to be able to do it on international competition and be able to strive and to achieve that, being one of the best wrestlers in the world. It just takes that time on task, getting good in those important positions. We really appreciate you, all that you do, all your training, all the sacrifices you make to be great at what you do. If there's anything that the national team staff can do for you to help you and further your career, further your development, please don't hesitate to let us know. We're trying to create opportunities for our wrestlers at all levels. Again, thanks so much. Have an awesome rest of your week, and we'll catch you next time.